I see a stat sheet. Thank you. Thanks.
Nice shirt.
Thank you.
You ready now? You want to stat sheet first?
I'm good. Go ahead. I could do both.
When you talked about wanting to play better, was this an example of that, and what was behind you guys playing at a higher level tonight?
Yes, this is what I was talking about. Like I said, our fans was unbelievable tonight, and just be able to come home, play our first playoff game into a dome. It was very exciting, and our fans came out. They showed up and showed out, and like I said, guys played better, played well. Norm was huge for us tonight. Scoring the basketball, but also making the right play in the pick and roll versus the blitzes. And we got to build off of it. Like I said, it's only 2 games, but today I liked our approach. I like what we did defensively, and still going to be a tough series. It ain't over because we, had a blowout. It's only 1 game. So we got to be ready to come and validate that on Saturday.
Ty, what is it about Nico that you can just throw into a playoff series no matter what and he'll deliver every time?
Because he's been in big games. He understands his role, and he's a star in his role. Whatever we ask Nico to do, he does it every single night. Whether it's 1 shot, whether it's 10 shots, whether it's no shots, he's going to be the same person, same player every night, and that's what we love about him. Unbelievable connector, and everybody loves playing with him.
I felt like James had a really good control over the game today at 13 in that first quarter, only 1 turnover, 9 assists. Spent most of that second half, I think, kind of just finding guys. But what did you make of how he kind of approached it and handled the flow of the game today, seeing when he needs to score or get guys involved?
Yeah, I thought he did a great job. A masterpiece of just, taking what the defense gives you. If they're going to be in a drop, we want to attack downhill. If they're going to be in a blitz, making the right read. And just the biggest thing for us, just watching film tomorrow, just, guys, getting to their spots, and it's different spots than we've been in all year. And so it's taking some time to kind of really find the flow and the rhythm. But game 4, we should be a lot better, understanding what we're looking for and how we want to set up. And so I thought James did a really good job of just being patient and taking what the defense gave him.
See, just the atmosphere in here, we had so many guys who used to play for this team come through tonight, just other guys who play in the league. How do you feel seeing that, in the first playoff game?
No, it feels good, seeing CP, seeing Pat Bev, and Pat Bev with the Zubac jersey on, and so, it just feels good. Like I said, the series is far from over. We understand that. But tonight, it was a good showing for us. So we got to come out, like I said, and validate this on Saturday.
Coach, early in the game, Denver hit you guys with a couple baseline cuts for layups and dunks. But it seemed like in that first quarter, you guys really tightened up defensively. Didn't give up 30 points in any of the quarters. What did you guys see that allowed you guys to kind of tighten it up and not give away those baseline cuts that you saw in that first quarter?
Yeah, we just looking at it, we thought that Jokers knew how we've been playing, in the first 2 games, and like I said, the best player in the world, and he was baiting us, early on in that first quarter where we were coming, and he saw us coming, but he acted like he didn't, and he was really picking us apart. And so in that second quarter on through, we did a good job of just really selling out those corner cuts, kind of trying to stay at home, especially if Zoo's guarding them, and just kind of mix it up. But like I said, JBG did a good job of just adjusting to what we needed to adjust to. Once they got those corner cuts, and then was able to take care of it after that.
Ty, kind of after game 1, I'm back here. After game 1, you said that you kind of feel like the week off going into game 1 kind of could have impacted you guys in terms of fatigue and guys looking a little bit rusty. How do you feel that the guys have kind of rebounded from that to get into the flow of this series?
Yeah, I think they've done a good job of rebounding. And like you said, 11 turnovers tonight. I think, with our core guys, I think we might have had 8 or 9. So, we understand we take care of the basketball. We can get really good shots, and just don't get bored with the process, understand what they're doing. And, for every situation they have, we have a different alignment to get to, but we got to do it with pace and get to our spots. Just don't get bored with it. Just take what the defense is giving you. If it's not your night tonight to get shots, make other guys better. And I thought Kawhi and James did a really good job of that tonight.
2 more.
Coach, so also in the second half, Kawhi had a nasty in and out crossover and kind of handling play. kind of talk about what he is like after like practice and before practice, how hard he works. Cause nobody really knows inside story, but what kind of can you tell us about Kawhi's work ethic?
You see where he's at today. You know, I think all the injuries, everything he's been through to get to this point, like I said, to work hard to get back for the playoffs and to be at full strength. And so that right there just tells you everything about Kawhi. He could have easily packed it in this year, but he wanted to play. He wanted to be out there and help his teammates. And like I said, he's back to being a player, a healthy player, which he's a very great player when he's healthy. And also just give a lot of credit to Ben Simmons. I thought he came in and changed the game in that first quarter just with his pace. I thought he did a good job of showing Joker different coverages, and his pace and everything was really good for us. And so everybody, like I said, chipped in, and it was a team effort, knowing back on track. And so I'm feeling really good about, where we at. We still have 2 more games and just kind of go from there.
On a night like tonight where there's so many positives to take away from the game, is there one specific thing that stood out to you offensively or defensively?
Just taking care of the basketball. We talked about it, and even tonight we talked about taking care of the basketball and rebounding the basketball. And so to out-rebound them by 10 after they out-rebounded us by, I think, 18 last game, that's a huge turnaround for us. And so just lock into the small things, into the details. And when we do that, we'll be fine.
Last one. Coach, how much credit goes to Jeff Van Gundy for the team's defense?
All the credit. Yeah.
He was moving, screaming, and very active in the bench.
All the credit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We talked to you yesterday about shooting no matter what. Now you seem to have found your rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
What's for you to maintain that confidence, never waver, as you say?
Yeah, I mean, my confidence never goes anywhere. It's all just about, I said yesterday, just riding the wave. Just being steady, trusting the work. I know it's going to always show, the amount of time that I put into this game, on the court, off the court, mentally, physically, that's what I do. I work, I try to get better. But yeah, it's all mental, so it's just about staying even keel and, watching how you can improve and making those adjustments.
What did you make of the crowd tonight in the first Intuit Dome playoff game?
I was good. I was a little worried when we were first running out, but when tip-off came, the whole arena filled and it was packed, sold out all the way to the top. I was looking. The energy was amazing from start to finish. I'm glad our first playoff game was a win here. But we still have more work to do. Got to be ready and focused and locked in Saturday. They're a great team. They're a championship team. So we got to be ready to play. We ain't do nothing yet.
It feels like when you play a guy like Nikola Jokic, you have to be locked in defensively for 48 minutes just to find a back cutter here and there. Like, what is that like in the flow of the game? Is it kind of easy to take when you have a big run to kind of maybe take a little bit of a backseat sometimes? Like, what is that like to play defense against that?
Nah, it's just like you said, we got to be locked in. There's no lead that's out of reach when you have a guy like him. He can score the basketball, he can get guys involved. So it's really being tied into the game plan. Continuous talk from the coaches, from the players, stepping on the floor, making sure that we're not giving them easy looks. He can score the basketball, but the way he wins games for his team is getting everybody involved. So taking away the gift baskets, the back cuts, the transition pushes and runouts when he's kicking the ball ahead is huge. So you can never take a playoff with him. And for me, I'm just always thinking like, where am I at? What am I supposed to do next? What are we trying to take away? And I think that's what everybody's doing. Like, how do we take away what he's trying to when he's trying to break down defenses?
You look at a guy like Nico, able to come into a playoff game immediately, make an impact. He had a couple blocks, big one in transition. Like, what is it about him that he's able to just come in there and always make an impact? I mean,
Nico's the most experienced player we have on this team. Just professionally playing, I always give him a hard time talking about NBA years, but he's been playing professional basketball, at a high level since he was a teenager. So he knows how to come in and be ready, be prepared for the moment. No one was too big for Nico. I always talk about how I was a fan of him when I was a rookie coming into the league, just the way he shot the ball, came off pin downs and things like that when he was younger. A lot of these young guys in the locker room don't even know how good Nicolas Batum was in his earlier days. But, he's experienced, he's heady, and he's always ready.
So you don't count his international years?
Nah, not when we're talking about NBA. He always tries to throw in his extra years. But when we're talking professional, yeah, but NBA years is different.
Okay.
You've been with Kawhi even dating back to 2019. You've seen the stuff he's had to endure off the court with injuries and all the times that he spent coming back. Do you think he gets enough appreciation for just forging through all this to keep coming back at the level that he's at?
No, not at all. Everybody wants to talk about his injuries or talk about how he's not trying to play or, he's sitting out on purpose, man. Like, they don't know, what he's going through. They don't know what we go through, what we fight through and battle through. I've been around him. I've seen his work. I've seen his due diligence, the amount of time and effort he puts into his body before games, after games, on days off, in the off season, being able to work out with him down in San Diego and stuff like that. Like, he's committed to this game, and I think everybody just talks about his injuries, and the amount of games he's missed. But, for him to come back every single time after one of those injuries and still play at the level that he's playing at, there's commitment there. It's not just, he's a great player and a great talent. He puts the time in and the work in. I think people need to, start appreciating who he is as a player and as a person and what he brings to the game. It's unfortunate injuries happen. He's not trying to go out there and get hurt and miss games. It happens and he has to bounce back and recover. But, I admire his mental fortitude and toughness through it all. He's never too high, never too low, and I try to emulate that mental toughness from him.
Norm, when you guys took control of this game in the first half, when you start the second half, you got to reestablish that energy and reestablish that control. How did y'all do it tonight?
Our experience, we've all been in playoff games. Everything's one game at a time, one possession at a time. In a playoff series, you don't win a series off one game. And we've all been in different playoff series where you've been up 2 games, down 2 games, and still being able to come back and win series. And like I said, that team is really good. They're not going to give them, they're not going to quit. And they got guys that can make shots and bring them back into the game. And our experience and being mentally locked in and not taking our foot off the gas. And being focused and coming out in those first 6 minutes and really still establishing who we were on the defensive end. We weren't just trading baskets. We weren't scoring. We were making sure that we were locked in tight and getting stops to keep the lead.
Thanks, man.
James, I know you mentioned the level of excitement, the expectations that you had for this building and playoff game 1 for into a dome. Just what can you say after having played in it?
It's a good start. It's a good game 1.
From the fan,
game 1 and into it.
Yeah, from the fan aspect.
It was cracking. It was loud. It was just how we expected it to be. You know what I mean? That's one of the reasons why we jumped out to a huge lead. You know what I mean? They got behind us and just rode that wave.
I feel like you kind of made a point of emphasis to be aggressive early. Was that something you were thinking about coming into this game that you felt this team needed?
That's always. Me being aggressive is not just scoring. It's, facilitating. It's doing other things. So, I got some shots to fall early, and that kind of just, got the guys rallied up, and, everybody made shots. We had opportunities, especially in the first 2 games, and shots that we didn't make, which this league is a make or miss league, you know what I mean? So we knew other guys, that hadn't, made shots in the first 2 games were going to make shots, and, we did that tonight.
James, you guys finished the first quarter on a 10-0 run, and it seems like from then on out, you guys imposed you guys' will defensively.
Yep.
You never really looked back. Why are you guys so locked in defensively? I know game 1 you guys fell short, but it seems like since then you guys have been locked in. You guys haven't.
We've been that way all year long. We've been that way all year long.
Yeah.
Like, that's our calling. Like, that, if we wouldn't even be in the postseason if it wasn't for our defense. So we know, like, going into games, like, no matter what happens offensively, we gotta be on point defensively. That's what keeps us in the game. So we've been like that all year, and as much as perfect as we want to be, like we aren't. So we make mistakes, we cover for each other, and we just continue to be resilient and keep fighting defensively. And the first game, You know, we 20 turnovers on the road. You can't win. You know, it's very, very difficult to win, and we still gave ourselves a chance. Tonight, how many we had? 10. Like, that's the game right there. Game 2, we had 10 as well. So you do that, and you rebound the basketball, you make shots, you give yourself a chance to win.
Yeah, too, right? I'm curious to know, like, what the conversation at halftime was. You guys had a lead, and you know that you played well to start that second half, and you had control of the game. Like, what was the conversation like to just amongst each other to maintain control that y'all built and established?
There were some things that we still could have got better at, like pick and roll. Jokic is up. Yeah, you know, he's doing a good job of being up. And, you know, first half, Zoo had like 3 or 4 opportunities where he got the ball into the basket and he missed a layup. I think he got fouled one time, and I forgot what happened the other 2 times. But, like, Zoo, go dunk the ball. Like, finish those plays. You know what I mean? So there's things like that offensively that we can get better at. And there's some things that we adjusted to defensively that we saw that they were doing that we felt we can get better at. And so it's just, you know, it's constant. Like, there's no let-ups. There's always communication, and there's always, you know, room for improvement for us.
Was good, and also great game for you today, man.
Sure.
Also, I want to say, you being the vet, the OG of the team, what are you telling your teammates after that victory that y'all just had? Like, hey, it's just one game, but let's try to continue this through the rest of the season, or the rest of the series.
We got to start preparing for Game 4 now. You know what I mean? Like, we know what we're dealing with. You know what I mean? Like, Jokic is something special. And those guys, you know, him, AG and Jamal and Michael, they've been together for so many years. They won a championship together. So they've been down in the series before. Like, for us, it's just, you know, we can't get too out. We're not celebrating like we do what we're supposed to do. You know what I mean? So I've been in the playoffs for 16 years, and for us, it's just, you know, preparing ourselves now for Game 4. And the earlier we can get a jump on that, the better off we'll be. But it's gonna be even tougher for Game 4. You know, we got to mentally prepare and know that. So tomorrow, film, we'll go over some things, we'll walk over some things, and we'll be ready to go for Saturday.
James, the T. Lue, JVG coaching pairing, for those that haven't been able to be in a practice or a huddle,
Elite.
what makes them so effective? Yeah.
It's like the perfect relationship. I don't know. They just know what the hell they doing. You know what I mean? Seriously. Like, they always on the same page. Like, they don't overstep each other's toes. They, you know, tell us what we need to do on both ends of the ball, and, you know, we go out there and do it. But it's just like, you know what I mean? They yin and yang. Literally yin yang twins. It's fucking hot up here. Seriously.
James, you know, you guys have been priding yourselves on your defense, and it feels like your defense wouldn't be as good as it would be without the camaraderie and chemistry you guys have. Like, we've seen the team photos you guys post and everything. Can you tell us about, like, what's that chemistry been like and that camaraderie as you head into that playoffs? Because you can see everybody celebrating for each other.
Very fun. Like, this is what when you think about an NBA team, this is what you envision. You know, I've been on, you know, several different teams, and it's probably one of the coolest teams in the sense of like everybody understands who each other is, accept them for who they are, and go out there and compete and have each other's back. Knowing like who's the guys, this is what you're great at, this is what you're great at, this is what your weakness is, but we can cover up for that. Like, we all know, and that's what makes this team so special. So, you know, we got a big Game 4 for us, and, you know, this is our first time, you know, going through this postseason. And as long as we continue to communicate and have each other's back, like, you know, good things are bound to happen for us.
Two more. James, right here. You had mentioned like it's one of the coolest teams you've ever been on.
Yep.
You talk about just what it means to use to play with a bunch of selfless guys.
Yeah.
You know, guys who just want to play defense and, you know, want to
Sacrifice. Yeah, that's a part of it. You know what I mean? Like, guys probably feel like they need to be shooting the basketball more, or getting more touches, or running more plays, for whatever you want to call it. Like, these guys know that the ball's going to get to them eventually. You know what I mean? However that looks. And T. Lue and our coaching staff do an unbelievable job of, like, mixing it in. For me, my job is easy. You know what I mean? I can score, but I'm the facilitator as well. So I can understand when guys are getting shots, when guys are going, and when it's time for me to exert myself. And that's the cool part about it. You know what I mean? I'm, like, running the show, but understanding, like, hey, Zoo might have it going tonight, you know, or Norm, or Y might have it going. And I'm cool enough to where if I don't got it going, or if those guys got it going, you know, I can facilitate and make other guys better, or get those guys who got it going that night the ball. So you know, it's possession by possession, is game by game. Tonight it was a collective group. Last game we see why had it going. You know what I mean? First game I had it going. So it's a balance of just having each other's back, see who has it going, and then just riding the game, and it's going to dictate. It's going to show you, you know, who got it going. So for our team, you know, we got each other's back, and that's it's pretty cool to be around.
James, I just want to know, what was the feeling like playing with such a loud and supportive crowd during the whole game?
It was really loud. It's probably the loudest it's been all year. You know what I mean? We expected that, but, you know, like I said before, Game 4 needed to be even louder. You know what I mean? Denver is a very, very tough team. They've been through it all. And, you know, they're not going to just give in. So we got to make sure that we come out ready to go prepared for Game 4. Thanks.
Man, I know you was coming at a match.
You look good.
Thank you.
Good.
So Ty talked about you guys having to play better, even though you guys split the first two. How did that message resonate with you guys? Get through that, even though we won, we still can play better.
There was when there was a lot of you know, room for improvements. Possession defense, turnovers, offensive rebounds, all that stuff. Better spacing offensively. We knew we can be better. So came in yesterday, watched some film, walked through some stuff, and you know, did pretty well today.
What'd you make of the crowd first?
That's great. That's great, man. We were looking forward to it ever since the beginning of the season for the playoffs. We knew they've been consistent throughout the season, very loud, and we knew they were going to take it to the next level in the playoffs. So it meant a lot to us. It was great. We hope for some more in the next game.
What's the hardest thing about trying to play Jokic all game long?
What's the
hardest thing?
There's a lot of everything, man. He's amazing. His basketball IQ is great. He can play in the post. He can shoot it. He can handle it, pick and rolls. He can face up. He can do a bunch of stuff, man. It's a pick your poison with him. So just got to be physical, play hard, and that's it.
I mean, he had a triple-double, but it didn't really dent in what you guys were doing. What does that sound like to say he had a triple-double, but you still won the game?
That's what he does, man. He's an all-around player. He makes plays not just for himself. He makes plays for his teammates all the time. He reads the defenses, and I don't know. I play really good, but you know, he's gonna get his. He's probably the best player in the league. He's gonna get his. So we just gotta stay locked into our game plan. Don't worry about you know what he got. Just gotta stick with it.
Seems like, you know, obviously game script's no different. Not every game is the same. I think you were heavily involved in the first two games today. I don't think you scored, but you did have a couple of attempts. Like, what does it say that you guys are able to, you know, adapt to whatever you guys are kind of seeing out there? As the ball was bouncing, you guys had a lot of open looks in that first quarter. What is it like to kind of adapt to whatever you're seeing out there and still be successful?
We're seeing a lot of defenses, and we're a pretty experienced team. James Kawhi, led by James Kawhi, been through everything, seen everything. So we're pretty good at, you know, just adjusting on the fly, reading the game, and just adjusting to it. There's not a lot of defenses that we didn't see already, so we're ready for everything. It's you know, we got a great coaching staff that's always onto stuff. They see what's going on. They're quick to adjust as well. So we did pretty well tonight.
Your locker neighbor was able to had a big performance today. 12, I think he had 3 blocks. One of those coming out of nowhere on that Jokic Porter kind of fast break. What does it say about him that he's able to, even at age 36, 37, whatever he is, just be that effective?
He's one of the best role players in the league. He knows his job. He plays hard. He plays both ends. He's smart. His basketball IQ is high. He can guard any position. He blocks shots. He rebounds. He's gonna hit open shots. He's like a connector on offense. He knows how to make that next pass. He's just a
great all-around player, and he's been like that throughout his whole career, international and NBA. So that's what Nico does.
So after seeing everything Kawhi has been through, both mentally and physically, what's it like seeing him perform like this?
It's great. It's great, man. He's been through a lot, and a lot of people in the media and out there piled up, like try to, bring him down even more, like it's his fault, for getting hurt, and that's just something you can't control. And he did a great job just staying locked in, trusting his work, trusting the staff, getting better, getting healthy, taking his time, and now he's back, he's healthy, he's looking good, and he's leading us. So big time.
Norm had a big fourth quarter in game 2, and tonight he has a big outing. What does it say about him that he's been able to come back after that first game to kind of produce like he has?
It's what Norm does. He is one of the hardest workers I've ever seen, and Norm's just, miss few shots. It's whatever. He works hard no matter if he plays good or bad, if he hits shots or not. He's going to put in the same work, and he's going to trust that work. And we knew it was going to happen at some point. He's going to make shots. Those are great looks. He's been knocking them down his whole life, and tonight he was knocking them down, and it changes, makes it a lot easier for us for sure.
What was the motivation behind the suit tonight?
This man right here.
Me too.
Twins. We're texting each other. Yeah.
Let him know, man. European guys.
I didn't get the memo. My bad. I didn't get the memo.
He's French.
Kids gonna need to be drinking.
What? You want those on the table?
Huh?
You want yours on the table?
Nah.
Allowed you to dominate them, so were you able to dominate the Nuggets this game?
Just made shots. Made 18 threes tonight. I think we were able to out-rebound them as well, limit their second chance points, and that's pretty much it. I think we played good defense. Like I said, they went 7 for 26 from 3, and we didn't really allow them to get a lot of second chance points.
Kawhi, Shaq always talks about the others. We know what we're going to get from you and James night in, night out. But when you bring along guys like Batum, Norm Powell, Zoo, all those guys, can you talk about what you guys' ceiling is, knowing that when those guys consistently play well on both ends, where this team can go?
I think they've been playing great all year, to be honest. Norm averaged, 20 points. Zoo double-doubles all year. I think about 15, 16, 10 rebounds a game. So, as long as we consistent, we're sharing the basketball and everybody contributes, I think we have a good chance to win. We've been just trying to do that and stay great collectively all year.
Hey, Kawhi, right back here. What is it in your mind or in the game plan when you go into like a game 2 where you're gonna attack, whereas in a game like today, perhaps maybe more of a team floor game? How does that trigger? What is it?
Just based off, T. Lue coaching the game, seeing what he sees, and just adjusting, and trusting your teammates. Everybody contributed tonight. It was a great game for us all, and if we could, do this throughout the playoffs, it would be amazing. But Denver's a great team. They've been here before, and we got to still stay focused and play together and come out with a great mindset Saturday.
Just to follow up, if there's a moment in like a game 2 where you're just like, you're telling Ty, like, this is my night, does that ever happen where you're just, I feel it?
No. I mean, it's game 3 tonight, so that's behind us. You know what I mean? That's in the history books already.
Hey, Kawhi, what do you think has been key for you not only to just be healthy this time of year, but to be playing at such a high level when you look at the last month of the regular season and the playoffs?
Obviously, just focusing in on my body. You know, being able to, you know, get my minutes up late in that last month, get in shape, basketball shape, you know, as well as just, you know, able to stay strong with the lifts and all, just combining all that together and just having a focused mindset really of still wanting it to be good and contribute to the team. And like I said before, just happy to, you know, be front line with my teammates and able to suit up, good or bad. And, you know, that's what I'm taking pride in and feeling great after the game. And I feel good and happy that I was able to play.
Kawhi, from the jump, it seems like this team this season has had the best defense and Clippers team we've seen in a long time. And that defense doesn't seem like it comes without a certain level of chemistry and camaraderie. Can you just talk about what it's like for you out on the floor with a team this good at defensively where everybody's covering each other's backs and their weaknesses?
I have to give, you know, credit to my coaching staff, starting with JVG, just being focused on that end and coming in with, you know, a passionate and, you know, aggressive mindset for us all. And it kind of triggers down to us. And then from there, there's guys on the floor that want to guard. They're not, you know, just pointing at me and telling me to take them. These guys is looking the opponent in the eye and say, I want them. And they motivate me defensively, you know, especially Chris Dunn, just seeing how he plays every game. And, you know, with Derrick Jones coming in and Zoo being that back line and how they just want to play. They motivate me to play, you know what I mean? And I think that's where it comes from. You see other guys just, you know, digging in deep and, you know, want to guard, and it just, you know, trickles down to everybody on the floor.
Kawhi, curious to know what your best healthy alternatives to give you are.
I'm not mentioning that right now. You could talk to me after.
All right, we'll talk after. In terms of game 4, T. Lue was talking about validate this performance tonight. How do you get an afternoon game on Saturday? How do you validate what y'all did today and go up and
I don't know. I mean, like I was just saying, you know, just take this win tonight, and then just circle back, try to get as much rest, and know the job isn't complete. You know, this is a great basketball team that we're playing against. You know, great players with Jokic being MVP, and Jamal Murray always, you know, playing great in the playoffs. And, you know, they got other guys as well playing great defense. Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter shooting. And we just have to have that mindset to come in and just do it again, I guess, and stay focused and know we're playing a hungry team.
Kawhi, so you got 39 points in last night, the other night 15, 19 from the field. Tonight, obviously 21 points. Your offense is definitely elite from the field, but your defense, you've always been locked in on defense with rotating, always going to be locked in the points of the game. Do you think this era has kind of ran away from defense and glamorized offense a little bit too much?
Nah, not really. I mean, at times, you know, it might be teams or games, but I think the offense got a lot better. It's a lot of pace, a lot of threes. Guys are, you know, just coming from me being defensive player, it's a lot of, you know, 6, 8 guys that could dribble and shoot threes now, or get to the paint that is very athletic. So I think the skill level's gotten there, and then at sometimes, you know, you might have those nights where your team isn't as good or they're not as focused on guarding, and you see crazy games. But everybody's trying to play for sure. Like I said the other day, it might look easier watching, but if you go out there and play, you're not gonna get no easy bucket.
Remember one of the last times that I asked you about Into a Dome, you mentioned how good the fans have been and wanted to give them a deep playoff run. What was the energy like in here tonight, and how do you feel the fans came out for you guys?
It was great. You know, they did a good job of filling up the seats. They were cheering all night, especially people on the wall. But it was a collective unit out there. It was very loud at times. I didn't know where he was, but it was fun. It was a fun game to play.
Why did you guys feel that way?
Turnovers, rebound, too many mistakes, game plan wise. Still tonight though, we still got make some mistakes and turnovers, rebound as well. So something we can correct. I mean, it's a good team, and Jokic got some backdoor game, like easy points we could avoid. But we have to keep watching film, get better, be ready for them on Saturday because they're going to be ready for us.
You guys were able to generate a lot of good looks in that first half.
Yeah.
Was there anything to that? Was the ball just hopping? You guys, what was the key to that?
I mean, the coaching staff did a great job of studying their defense. We have so many options on offense. Zoo, Kawhi, Norm, James. I mean, we have so many guys who can do stuff. So you have to find the right answer every time. So we've been working on that for a good week before we play them. I think the first 3 games on offense we did well, though. We have to correct our defense. But on offense, I think we try to find the right solution every time. I think we did a pretty good job. James has been amazing, orchestrate everything. Kawhi too, and Zoo as well. And just to play around, and we get a good offensive night tonight.
Your catching fruit is the fastest I've ever seen. Where does that come from?
Been working on that really since COVID, though. Since what happened to me in Charlotte, I knew I have to change my game and be a spot-up shooter. And I really been working on that for the last 5-6 years now. And shooting faster, quickly. It's like, I don't have time sometimes to shoot. I mean, sometimes just close out or end of possession. I have to shoot quick, and that's something I've been working on pretty much every day now.
What did you make of the crowd tonight? It's the first
postseason
game in this arena.
That was amazing. No, they were electric as soon as we came in. I mean, right after the locker room, warm-up stuff. I mean, they were amazing. The wall, best section in the NBA by far, though. And the crowd were amazing. So that was a playoff. That was like an opening night stuff. We kind of messed up the opening night in October against Phoenix, so that was like another one. So no, they were amazing. I expect them to be even better on Saturday.
I just talk about how you were able to every playoff just come out and perform. 3 blocks today, those 4 threes, I believe, 4 or 5 threes. Mm-hmm. What is it about the postseason that you're just able to, Ty said you're malleable, you're able to do whatever you need, whether it's scoring?
I mean, my role is easy though. I don't have to do like a lot of stuff. It's to be. No, you don't ask me to score 20, to create stuff or anything. So just be in the open spot and be ready to shoot. So, and that's pretty much what I've been doing on offense. On defense, it's different, but I've just tried to be smart though. We have so many weapons on offense. Like I said, since I got here, my job is to make their life easy.
So the defense is not as easy?
No. No, it's not on offense. On offense, like we have so many guys with that great on offense. My job is to be in the right spot, make space for them, and be ready to shoot. And that's what I've been doing, especially again this year, or since pretty much I got there in 2020. So on defense, just do my job. Whatever assignment I have, I'm going to have to do it.
And Nico, since you've been with this group, is this the best you've seen Kawhi this past month?
I think 2021 was insane, though. Yeah. It was insane, but I mean, he's Kawhi. I mean, whatever. I mean, he's one of the best. He's top 75 for a reason. So he is where he is right now. I'm not really surprised of his level of basketball right now. So I just hope he's keep going that way as much as he can.
What do you expect from Denver Game 4?
To be aggressive, to be ready for us. I mean, they still have a chance to split the series and go back home and get the home advantage. Winning the game by 1-34, I mean, it's nothing. They still got a chance to split the series anyway. So we got to be ready for them on Saturday. They're going to be ready for us. And right from the start, don't let them get a chance because they're going to try to win the game. We all know that. We got to be ready for that and be even better than we were tonight.
When Aaron, go ahead.
I was just asking, going into COVID, you talked about changing your role. How is that process for someone like you, that's been there done so many things offensively and defensively, being one of the orchestrators of offense, and then going into that and changing that mindset. How did that process go? Not just shooting wise, but were you in the film lab a lot too as well during that time?
You have to be smart sometimes. You have to know where you are at in your career, what age you are, and the stage of your career. So I was 32 years old, and I knew like if I wanted to stay in this league and still playing in this league, I have to change a couple stuff. And I'm still here though.
Yeah.
I'm still 5 years after, still playing. 36 years old, be 17 years in the league, and still get a chance to be on the court at the highest level. So I think it's been working.
When you look at just how you guys have been able to kind of frustrate Nikola and Jamal, I know Aaron has that kind of hot shooting first quarter, but Jamal and Nikola just look frustrated out there a lot of times. Like how have you guys been able to just make life really tough on them?
I mean, they're so great. I mean, those guys won the ring 2 years ago. I mean, pretty much first seed last year all season long. So in this year, they still get home court advantage though.
Yeah.
Top 4 in the West, or top 3, top 4 in the West. So one guy with pretty much the best player in the world. So you have to make them work for everything. You won't stop them. It's impossible to stop them. I mean, you still get like a triple-double.
Right.
But I think Zoo has been doing a great job on being physical with him. Team defense was great. KD, I think, was great. But they're great players. They're going to bounce back and find a way to be better to make the team win. So we have to be even more ready for them on Saturday.
Okay, thanks, Nico.
I get it.